Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to the Real Football Fans of New Jersey. I am Caitlin. This is Katie. We are so excited to be with you guys tonight for episode 134. Listen, the weeks keep coming, the episodes keep coming.
2020 keeps going on whether we like it or not.
It's still happening. The days are, the world craziness is going on, but guess what? We're still going on for you too. Yeah. We are remote again this week. Listen, guys, we're just trying to stay safe for you. We want to keep delivering these episodes to you week after week. So we'll be live again soon in person, I'm sure. But right now, keeping it low key. We've got our wine. We've got our football and Housewives talk. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we asked you guys for questions this week. We did gather a couple of great cues. So let me go ahead and get my phone out and take a look at them. Okie dokie. So starting with, if the New York Jets get the first pick and move on from Sam Darnold, what are potential landing spots for him?
Yes, I definitely did a solid look at all 32 teams. Mm-hmm. A large majority of them do have their franchise quarterbacks, but there's plenty of open opportunities I saw for other teams. I listed 3 with somebody who I do think is the number 1 spot for him. But my 3 teams were the Chicago Bears.
Okay. Very good.
The San Francisco 49ers, which is kind of like, okay, maybe. That Jimmy G situation is a little iffy. And my last one is my top pick for Sam Darnold to potentially still be a starting quarterback in the league, because I think plenty of guys in this league have gotten shots that he's definitely deserving of another one as well. I'm pairing him with the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay. Yeah, I do think of Philip Rivers isn't going to be there long term. Right. I think that makes sense. Yeah,
it was a 1-year deal, and I think that it's maybe like, and he really hasn't even been playing that well, Philip Rivers. I think this could be the end of his NFL career. And the reason I'm more specifically pairing him with the Colts is because of head coach Frank Reich.
Yeah,
he's actually been a quarterbacks coach twice throughout his career. He's been a wide receivers coach twice throughout his career. He's been an offensive coordinator, and now, of course, he is an NFL head coach. He would be the perfect pairing for Sam Darnold to kind of get his career on track.
So I think that's really interesting, but where I kind of look at it long term for the Colts, I think they've made so much progress this year. I wouldn't want, and I'm not saying Sam Darnold's a bad quarterback. I think he's kind of been giving like such a shit end of the stick being the quarterback for the Jets. I would never want them to lose so much progress by bringing in a guy like Sam Darnold. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking about with that. But I actually thought of it, not any of those 3 teams. I did only go with one. I'm thinking someone along the lines of the Cleveland Browns. So I know, a little bit of like a same.
That's really awkward because Baker and him went in the same draft.
I know, that's
number 1. That's mad awkward.
Same draft class drama. I think obviously people are doing their like high horse Baker's so amazing right now because he did come off of a good, week, things like that. And listen, we spoke about this on the show. I would never want someone like that to be my quarterback. He's too wishy-washy for me. We did do the QB rankings recently where should they move on or whatever. I think people said move on, or I did at least. So I think
I said hang on with him until the end of his rookie contract.
So if that's it, maybe the Jets, I don't know. So yeah, maybe they bring him in, sit for a little bit, then get rid of him. But that actually was the team that popped up into my head right away. So definitely interesting, but I could see it.
Okay.
All righty. So second question, looking ahead, what's your go-to Thanksgiving beverage? And do you watch all 3 NFL games that day?
Well, Thanksgiving is a very long day, right? So sometimes I'm drinking several different types of beverages, but to keep it on the safe side, obviously I will be drinking wine. I do drink wine, but I would say my main staple during Thanksgiving is Prosecco. I'm a big Prosecco drinker, a big fan. Actually, I don't drink it enough on the actual on our show. I should start.
I was gonna say, yeah, you don't, but
yeah, I love Prosecco, and that's definitely my drink of choice during Thanksgiving. As far as the 3 games, I would definitely say that the games are on all day long on a TV, on maybe more than one TV, kind of in the background. And of course, if it gets close or something like that, I'll watch the end of the games. But it's kind of more so like, yes, all the games will be on wherever I am, but it's kind of just like a background thing. You know, there's food, there's booze, there's family, you're catching up. It kind of gets pushed to the background.
Yeah. So same thing here. The games are on. I'd love to I usually catch the night game the most because that's when everything is winding down. Because like you said, Thanksgiving's a long day. It's also an early day. Things get started early and you're also eating dinner at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
You host it. So you're going to start really early.
I know. And I'm in the kitchen like 90% of the day too, because I'm cooking a majority of the dinner. So I'm really, again, just listening to it, catching the night game when I can. My drink of choice though, and my sister and I, since I started hosting Thanksgiving a couple of years back, our tradition is our spin on the mimosa. We actually just use champagne with apple cider. They are absolutely delicious. When I get home from Orange Theory at like 8 a.m. and I have to start cooking, it's a great pair of choice. And then usually for dinner, I move to like, obviously my drink of choice always is Chardonnay. So I do like a good glass of wine with my Thanksgiving turkeys and mashed potatoes. So
well, good news for you. I'm almost positive the night game this year, we're all being treated to this, is the Steelers versus the
Ravens. Yeah.
So that's a great one. Really excited.
Round two on Thanksgiving.
Round one was pretty good. I'm ready for round two.
Make sure you get your turkey nap in super early so you can wake up and watch the night game for sure.
You can snooze through that Cowboys-Washington game. That'll be a snooze fest.
Yeah, that one might not even be on. So a question for Housewives. So how many episodes are you going to give the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City if you don't like the first episode?
I definitely think I'm going to give it a solid chance. The good news for Salt Lake City is I had so many shows that were on at the same time, like just a couple weeks ago, that I had to write it in my phone to remember what came on at what night. Everything ended at the same time. I have like no shows on right now. So I'm ready for Salt Lake City, and whether I think it's good or not, I'm probably going to give it a solid 5 or 6 episodes before I bail on it if I don't like it. But I have very high hopes for it.
So I think that maybe like my mindset is, given that it's a new franchise, like maybe we should give it more of the benefit of the doubt. But I honestly have just been like hating so many different franchises recently, a couple episodes in. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a firm 3 episodes before I bow out. So I think I have a good like radar of like, is it going to be good or not? But still in the back of my mind, I will remember that it is a brand new franchise. So we'll think about that.
And again, I think you could probably agree with me. I have high hopes for it. I'm very excited.
I have very high hopes. Yeah. So, and obviously, those were our main questions. We did get one troll question about the Philadelphia Eagles. Stop sending in those questions. This goes out to my boyfriend, Chris. We are not answering the question of how good the Eagles are because they are not good. The NFC is trash. I would never call that team good. You can be so happy that they're number 1 in the division, but that's nothing to brag about. So please stop sending in those questions. You are a troll. We will block you.
Unfortunately, we cannot necessarily block you because of the relationship to one of the hosts on this show. But
we'll block you from.
If we didn't have that, we would block your ass. So
we will block you from the podcast account. Please stop sending in those questions. But as always, we are live right now. You might be listening to us later in your life. That's great, listening to the podcast. But if you are live with us right now on Facebook, YouTube, and the Twitter, please send in your questions throughout the show and we will answer them for you, or just send in comments. Come on, hype us up right now. There's 5 people watching. Woo, hype us up.
Send us some love. All right. Well, thank you guys for those questions. Let's get into our big stories of the week in the world of football. Obviously, we knew we were going to have to talk about this week. The NFL trade deadline, it officially ended yesterday afternoon. And I got to say, speaking of snooze fests, this was one of them.
Like what? Like I had to be reminded multiple times that it was coming up close. It was coming.
Yeah.
We were ending. It was coming up close.
I had to Google it a couple times since I'm like, did we start? Like, is anything
Did anyone trade? Like what? I think someone was traded 3 weeks ago. Does that count? Like what's going
well,
on?
I mean, last week's show we talked about Everson Griffin. I think we mentioned Carlos Dunlap going to Seattle.
Yeah.
Other than, I mean, those are kind of your big names, and we're going to give you some of these other ones. These were the biggest ones that there were, and it's not even that too crazy.
But usually this is like a hot time. Like things are happening. Like we're reporting on them. Like we're sending them out via Instagram. Like we're talking about it each week. Like
there wasn't much to report. So we will give you pretty much the majority of what there was. But the Los Angeles Chargers sent cornerback Desmond King to the Tennessee Titans in exchange for a 6th-round pick. The San Francisco 49ers, I thought this was a big one because I think this is a good player. The 49ers sent linebacker Quan Alexander to the New Orleans Saints for a conditional 5th-round pick and linebacker Kiko Alonso. So now Kiko will be going to play for San Fran. He started out his career so hot, and then he's kind of sort of fizzled out, but I still think he could be a good player. So if you get him in a pick for going to San Fran, that's not too bad, and certainly it's a nice pickup for the Saints getting Quan Alexander. Here I am reporting it tonight. I guess we didn't say it last week. The Bengals sent defensive end Carlos Dunlap to the Seattle Seahawks in exchange for offensive lineman BJ Finney and a 2021 7th-round pick. And then the New York Giants sent linebacker. This one makes me laugh for a specific reason, but the Jets sent linebacker Avery Williamson and a 2022 7th-round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 2022 5th-round pick. You gotta love going to bed undefeated and winless and waking up undefeated.
Well, he took to social media that night too in his full uniform, grabbing a cab on the side of the road, and he was like, "Next stop, Pittsburgh." So listen, he was clearly excited. I don't know if that picture was photoshopped. I don't know how he's allowed in that uniform on the streets of New York City, but someone has to clarify that for me.
Most likely photoshopped, but hey, I mean, that's an early little Christmas present to him, right? Yeah, you got to think. So
listen, I'd love to wake up 7-0. I love it.
You know, as much as I'll never trade my fandom, it wouldn't be bad to wake up and still be Giants fans, and all of a sudden we're, 7-0. That would be a nice life to live.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. I don't know what I was thinking about earlier, but I saw something on the Twitter, and I think it was like just something stupid about like an organization. And I was thinking to myself, like, what would it actually take for me to not like to really question my fandom? And I don't think it's play. I don't think it's, I know. That's what I was thinking about. Like, what could the Giants organization like do? Like, I think like literally they would all have to like commit murder. Like
you would all have to tell me that they like harm puppies or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's nothing that I can think of that, you have to ride with your team through the good and the bad. Otherwise, you're just not a true fan. So
no, not at all.
We're in dark times right now, but we just have to stick through and keep supporting our guys. That's all we can do.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get into our week 8 thoughts. There's a lot going on in week 8. Again, another great week of games, I think. So I was very impressed. Thursday, Sunday, Monday. So New England has now lost their 4th straight game for the first time since 2002. And they lost to Buffalo, but they lost to Buffalo only 24-21. Yeah. To me, I thought this was not going to be necessarily a blowout, but I'm very disappointed with how Buffalo played in this game. It was, I think, it might have been my lock last week. I don't know, but
this is going to be almost the Patriots this weekend when they play the New York Jets. We'll see, because that is a good game, only losing to a really solid Buffalo team by 3 points. So I feel like we're going to get a better gauge on them. Like, can you stomp out the Jets, or are you going to play the Jets? I know it's a division game, but are you going to play the Jets, like the worst team in football? How close is that one going to be? And I feel like it'll give us a better read on this New England team, because they're one of our sketchy teams this year. So
they are sketchy. All right. So Cincinnati Finally, the Bengals, Mr. Joe Burrow gets their win. So they upset the Tennessee Titans 31-20. I'm honestly, you can see my smile from ear to ear. It was week after week. They've been in games. Their record does not
in every game.
Their record does not showcase who they are as an organization, who their young QB stud is. So I am just I'm all for the Titans doing well and having a great record this season, but like hell to the Bengals.
Yeah. I'm super impressed by this team. I'm super impressed by Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. And yes, we've said it every week that their record is not show who they are as a team. And I'm happy to see that they finally pulled one off. And it's kind of cool to see that they didn't just pull one off over an average team. They pulled one off on one of the best teams in the league right now. So huge.
Joe Burrow had one of the best games as a rookie quarterback that I think we as NFL fans have seen in a very long time. Like he was truly outstanding.
He's been very impressive. He's fun to watch. He has come as advertised. So
love it. You love to see it. So the Minnesota Vikings.
I did not expect this one.
I didn't either. They finally got a win against division rival, the Green Bay Packers, 28-22. We love a good division matchup. But here's the reason why. Dalvin Cook went off. Quick fun fact here. One of the fantasy teams, not the ones that I own, but someone I know owns, literally only got 47 points, the whole team. Dalvin Cook scored 47 points alone in fantasy because he scored 4 touchdowns and accounted for 226 of Minnesota's 324 scrimmage yards. Holy guacamole, Dalvin Cook. Go off.
Yeah. I there are no words for a performance like that.
It was just only his name on the screen. It was just like the Vikings and Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, my husband and I were out because obviously the Niners were not playing till 4 and the Giants were playing Monday Night Football. So we were out during kind of the 1 o'clock games, and it came up on his phone Dalvin Cook is back. And he was like, he must be doing something good right now. Yeah. And lo and behold, he was just blowing everybody out of the water. So
it's literally the only things that were coming out of the commentators' mouths were the Vikings, Packers, and Dalvin Cook. That's all anything was saying. So
it was his game.
He truly went off. And listen, Vikings, keep using him. If you want to get back and have people not shake their heads at you and
put
think
everything on his shoulders.
Put it there. Okay, so we had Mr. Tua Tagovailoa. We had Tua time. It was his first start, and he gets the W. This was my
pick, girl.
It was because I believe in Mr. Tua, and I believe it is Tua time. It was a 28-17 win over the Los Angeles Rams. Listen, You're only looking at about a 10-point deficit there, but it was an absolute blowout, in my opinion. Miami stomped on the Rams, and I loved watching that game. I thought it was super exciting. Yeah. Listen, Tua played great. Everyone around him, though, also played great. So I don't want everyone to hype up that Tua's bringing this team forward. He's going to do great things, but you've got to give it to everyone on the Dolphins that day.
I was going to say, I'm not taking a shot at Tua, but he really didn't do much because the special teams, the defense, everybody was just rocking and rolling on that team. Miami's that's another one of my sketchiest teams of 2020. I don't know what to make of them, but are they sneaky good? They honestly might be.
And then, wow, excuse me, coughing up a storm over here. Big blow again out in San Francisco. Quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo and tight end George Kittle are both hurt again after a 37-27 loss to the Seattle Seahawks. They're both out indefinitely. It does not look good. Jimmy G hurting his ankle again, and George Kittle, it's a fracture in his foot. He broke a little piece of his foot. That's so weird, in my opinion. How do you just break a little piece of it? But not good. George Kittle's going on IR. I don't think it's understood what they're doing with Garoppolo yet, but it doesn't look good. So in my opinion, they are a very injured team. Maybe we just rest him for the rest of the season.
If the Niners played in a different division, if they didn't play in the best division in football, you're still, I'm not saying they won't play their hearts out, right? But at this point, you're kind of looking at like 2020 is just a wash. This season is just one that we've got to put behind us and forget about. And we got really unlucky with being so banged up. If they played in another division where their record looks good in that division, they can still be competitive. But I think because of how well everybody else is playing in the NFC West, you kind of just have to put this one behind you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
They got very, very unlucky. It has nothing to necessarily do with their play. Sometimes you just, the roll of the dice is not a good one.
Yeah, for sure. All righty, and we still have an undefeated team in the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers because they beat the Baltimore Ravens 28-24. Baltimore, excuse me, Baltimore's left tackle Ronnie Stanley is out for the season, unfortunately, though, with an ankle injury as a result. So, but still, it was a great game. We do get round 2 on Thanksgiving, so looking forward to it.
I want to say one quick thing about the Ravens. Obviously, I still believe they're one of the strongest teams in the NFL. I believe that they're one of the contenders in the AFC. I think they could make a Super Bowl. They could certainly make an AFC championship game. But losing Ronnie Stanley, that's a huge loss.
Right.
He's a Pro Bowl lineman. That's a big time loss. And I'm also sort of like, it still lingers in the back of my mind, like these big games, primetime game. This wasn't a primetime, but primetime games, playoff games, a team against your rival who's undefeated. Usually the Ravens are not coming out on top in those games. And so that Thanksgiving game, prime time on Thanksgiving, if they can't pull that one off, it is going to have me question, can they do anything in the playoffs? You know what I mean? Because no, they're just not pulling it out in these big, important primetime playoff type games.
Yeah, and it's a great point to make. And all I, heard this week on, on the radio, on TV, like for talk shows, looking on Twitter, the main point to make right now is that the Ravens do not do well in big games.
Right.
So that's exactly what you're saying. And that's what everyone else is saying. They can't perform. And I said this on one of our shows earlier where Lamar Jackson, like taking nothing away from him, he's a very talented quarterback. The Ravens need to come out strong and dominate. That's how they win games. That's how Lamar Jackson goes off. As soon as they're down by a little bit, they have so much struggle to come back and try to win
He's not a Patrick Mahomes where the Chiefs can be down whatever they were down here in the playoffs and then come back and
they're not a comeback team across the field, special teams, defense, quarterback, all the offense. They're not a comeback team. And that's what's been biting them in the ass these past couple of weeks, and kind of just this whole like season's been kind of sketchy. Like they have to go out and show their dominance right away, and we just need to see that for the rest of the season, because if we don't, I think your question about are they a postseason team or a strong postseason team, I don't know, because it doesn't really look like it.
They have to treat that Thanksgiving game against the Steelers like it is a playoff game.
Absolutely.
Because I think they will just need the confidence from winning a game like that to know that they can do it on the big stage. That to me is going to be very definitive, that matchup.
Absolutely. And then a couple more things. So Denver win 31-30, big nail biter there over the Chargers on a last second touchdown. So again, a bit of a nail biter. Good to see too, the Broncos kind of coming out of nowhere, beating the Chargers. So
that gorgeous touchdown pass in the last second.
He did a great job. He is my backup fantasy quarterback, and I finally was able to use him this week because Deshaun Watson was on a bye. And listen,
good.
He came back from injury, came back to help me in fantasy. So thank you, Drew Law. Love it, love it. I'll probably sit you this week, but thank you so much. And then obviously the most painful topic of the night. The New York Giants fell short to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 25-23. And honestly, let's talk about that last call of the game. There was no offensive, the pass interference call. And
So let me tell you pretty much all my, I loved peeping at your Twitter, especially during the games, your personal Twitter, because you definitely have your eyeballs more on what everybody else in the world of sports, a lot of the commentators, analysts, players, what they're saying. And obviously I see that you retweet a lot of certain stuff. So as soon as that game ended and I saw your Twitter and I saw that you had retweeted from, I think it was Stapleton and I think it was somebody else, big time, analysts, commentators, big names, saying, once you throw that flag, unless
you
there's
can't pick it back,
pick it up unless there's clear reason that that you should be. And then the other person was just like, that was by no means, or I mean, that was by all means pass interference. And so to me, when I looked at your Twitter and I saw that I'm not just a crazy heated Giants being emotional, like these were outside opinions, like confirming what I felt, what you felt, what Giants fans felt. It sucked, but at least it made me feel like, okay, I'm not freaking crazy here. Like we just got robbed.
100%. And I obviously made a funny tweet too, that it's just the refs love Tom Brady and they love screwing over the Giants. That's not an angry thing. You can literally sit down and watch all the games the Giants have this season. The refs have royally screwed us over in at least one instance during that game. That one happened to come at the end of the game that literally just cost it. And I'm not saying that the Giants didn't cost the game, because there were so many other things that we could have done better to.
And not saying even if that flag was thrown that we would have ended up on another try getting it.
Oh, yeah. I don't give a shit. Just call the right play. Sorry, call the right call. It's that simple. And it was so frustrating to sincerely end on a note like that, because so many other things were happening that were just super frustrating. And the night was just such a high-low evening. I literally was just had so many endorphins that made me so happy. And oh my God. And then I was just so sad.
It was rough. That and obviously that Philly loss were really gut-wrenching. And Caitlin and I even said, it's one thing to get blown out and you kind of just are numb to it and you're sitting there watching all right, we suck. We just got killed. But then it's another thing, especially against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, who people are loving right now, saying that they're Super Bowl contenders.
We shut out Tom Brady, literally shut him out.
And you go out and you compete like that against one of the NFL's top teams, and then you lose in that fashion. It rips your heart out. So we both went to bed very, very angry that night.
I didn't sleep. I just really stormed into my bedroom to go to bed after, but the whole night I was just
Yeah. When we get blown out, you won't hear me say peep. You won't hear me all game long. I just sit there and I watch it. But when you have a game like that, I'm screaming and I'm yelling. So
yeah, there's a funny GIF from after the game. It was a video clip actually turned into a GIF of Joe Judge, and he yells at the ref after the game is over, and he goes up to him and he basically just said that was bullshit, straight up to his face, and says it to him twice. He points at him, because it's true. Honestly, it's just annoying. So I hope there was letters written to the NFL about that, because it was complete horse shit. But what are you gonna do? On and upward.
I guess so. All right. Well, we are getting to that point. We are going to give you our week 9 picks plus 1 lock and 1 upset. I had an off week last week. I actually think a lot of these games this week are really close. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how many you and I have different, because I was back and forth on a lot of them. But you kick us off. Give us your week 9 picks, 1 lock, 1 upset. Who are you taking?
All right, I'm pulling it up on my other screen, so my face is super bright right now, and I'm not looking at the camera. So I look like Casper the Friendly Ghost. So I am going with the Packers, the Giants, Titans, Vikings, Panthers, Texans, Colts, Seahawks, Broncos, Raiders, Steelers, Dolphins, Buccaneers, and Patriots. My lock is the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Dallas Cowboys. And my upset is the Carolina Panthers over the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's a hell of an upset, girl.
Oh, yeah.
You love that Teddy Bridgewater, man.
Oh, I do. I love Teddy.
Huge win for Carolina.
Teddy, are you listening?
if you're right on that, all hail the queen. But we ended up actually having 6 games different. So again, I'm kind of not surprised because I went back and forth on a lot of these. But I am taking the Packers, the Washington football team, the Titans, the Minnesota Vikings, the Chiefs, the Texans, the Ravens, the Seahawks, the Falcons, the Chargers, the Steelers, the Cardinals, the Buccaneers, and the Patriots. My lock is also the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Dallas Cowboys. They're not getting Andy Dalton back. I believe he's on the COVID list now.
He's got the Rona now.
Yep. So it's Mr. DiNucci is still starting for this Dallas squad. And I have a feeling going up against that Steelers front 7 is not going to be fun for him.
No.
My upset is a team that I have a lot of faith in, kind of similar to the Bengals and their rookie quarterback situation. I have a lot of faith in this Chargers team.
Me too.
They've been in a lot of games too. And I am going to take them over the Las Vegas Raiders.
I think that is great. So we do have a comment on our YouTube channel, and it's just, well, it is saying that they their opinion on the 8 best football players in the world today. Unfortunately, this individual is talking about soccer players. We are a American football podcast, so apologies if that was
football. It's American football.
Apologies if that was misconstrued. We are not. But I would recommend you should go over to thebreakdownsports.com. They are a phenomenal sports website, and they do great things with soccer. So I've never seen soccer analyzed as well as they do it. So I'm actually going to, I don't know if I can comment back to this individual, but I will later on our YouTube. Go check out the Breakdown Sports. They will probably agree with what you're saying right now. So I know nothing about soccer.
No, can't say I do either.
But thank you so much for watching. Yes. All righty. So let's get into our big stories of the week for Housewives. So this one was a holy shit story. Like no one was expecting it. Hot off the press. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Erica Girardi is splitting from her husband, Tom. So you guys know this marriage, the age difference, you know it. So Real Housewives of Beverly Housewives, Erica Girardi has confirmed to E! News that she is filing for divorce from her husband, Tom, after 21 years of marriage. That is a long-ass time.
I know, right?
Yeah. So they have a 33-year age difference. They married in 1999 after getting engaged 6 months into their relationship. So we do have, a quote from Erica, but
very like PR, not giving juicy details quote.
Yeah, but before we get in, into, well, actually, I'll read the quote first. So this is from Erica. After much consideration, I have decided to end my marriage to Tom Girardi. This is not a step taken lightly or easily. I have great love and respect for Tom and for our years and the lives we built together. It is my absolute wish to proceed through this process with respect and with the privacy that both Tom and I deserved. I request others that give us this privacy as well. So
give us the juicy details.
I have some juicy details.
Yeah.
So it's been posted to a couple of like those Bravo Instagram accounts. And apparently she's been sleeping with this like actor model for a very long time. And it's been kind of swept under the rug. I did also hear a theory though. And this one, like brace yourself. It broke my heart. It's from our friend Jax, actually. She sent me this theory, but I've actually been seeing it elsewhere now that I heard it from her. That Tom basically was like, because he's like 80 something years old, like he's old. Basically went to her and was like, I'm not getting any younger. Like you're very young and successful. Like just go be like, try to go find someone else. Like just go be on your, like, come on. Like, oh
man. I mean, as sad as that is, I hope it's that and not the cheating.
Yeah.
Thing, you know
100% agree. Yeah. So, but back in 2017, though, fans were very shocked to hear that Erica told Andy Cohen that she did not have a prenup. And she explained that Tom is a very successful lawyer. So we do all know that. And a prenup would never stand in his way. So But she's been so vocal this entire time that like, listen, like, no, like has nothing to do with that. Like it's nothing to do with his money and anything like that. But I don't know, like she seems pretty happy with a friggin' creative director for her outfits every day from her. Like, but then also I always wonder too, like what type of law does he do? Because he's literally like a gazillionaire.
I don't know.
There's got to be more involved.
What type of law makes you? I mean, an agent to famous people who are really successful. I don't know. I really don't know. But I think if he was an agent to celebrities or athletes or something, we would know about that. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know what's the one that makes you $1 gazillion. But holy crap. Yeah, he is loaded. And her argument has been anybody that's spoken up about their age difference and given her grief about it. She's basically been like, come see me when you have 20 years worth of marriage under your belt. So,
and I think that's a very fair point.
Like, it is.
Because I do not have 20 years marriage under my belt. So like, I have no idea. Like, but then that's like why, like when like I was like introducing like the topic earlier, like saying those words, like, wow, holy shit, they did have 21 years of marriage. Like that's a long ass time.
Listen, I think, and that theory, I think there does need to be, you would think at some point there would be a little bit of guilt associated with that age gap.
Yeah.
Oh, like, I mean, she met him when she was in her 20s. Oh, am I stopping you from doing this? Am I keeping you from doing that? I can't do this with you anymore because, of my age. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
that could be an accurate theory. Now, I would have to think at some point, especially when he got much, much older, that there had to be a little bit of guilt associated as like, it's like, if you love them, set them free. It could be a scenario like that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty wild though. Like I guess
it caught everybody off guard.
It did because it was always a topic of discussion. It was always brought up about them because of their age difference. He was been on the show. He's actually like a very active member of the show. He pops in every now and then. They're joking because this past season he like came on an episode and like told the girls a story, and all the women were like swooning over this old ass man telling a story. Like. Because he is a very charming guy. Like I will admit, like every time he's funny too. Like every time I've seen him on an episode, like he's pretty a funny guy. But like, so listen, to put up with Erica J, like holy shit, like there's something. Maybe it's the old age, but I don't know. So
if it is a celebrity, an actor, model, that intrigues me as well. Like, I don't know if it's a well-known person or whatever, but
might just be a rumor, but
shocked that more like, okay, so this news only broke yesterday, but I'm almost shocked that we're not like juicy details more so aren't coming to surface.
I don't think
you guys next week. Like, I want to know more about this.
I think we're going to hear rumors. I don't think she's going to talk about this anymore.
Yeah.
I think if it's brought up on the next season of Beverly Hills, she's going to get very sassy, and there might be a scenario thrown in our face where she leaves the franchise because she doesn't want to talk about it, and the girls try to get into her, and she just doesn't. So I can see another Denise Richards situation here.
All right. Well, let's switch franchises. Let's go over to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. We do have a premiere date for their new season 13, that is going to be coming December 6th. So we do have that. I need a New Jersey date. Okay. I need that to look forward to as well. So
they just got together for Halloween. So they were filming that. So it was about 2 weeks prior to Halloween though, but they've been
filming since the spring. I swear to God. I mean, I know COVID and everything like that puts a halt, but I know they were together all summer. Like, I am ready. Give us a date. But anyways, Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 13, set to premiere December 6th. It is going to feature a new cast member, a lot of new cast members across every single franchise. Her name is Drew Sidora. She is a TV and film actor. When I was writing this, and I kind of feel like every time we introduce a new cast member, they have a Sonia Morgan-like list of all their accomplishments and everything they do. And I'm like, how legit is this? So Drew.
Sonia's is not realistic. Like, it's not, like when she did her dating profile, it was like, here, list off the 35 things that I do for a living. Stop.
Drew is a TV and film actress, producer, entrepreneur, singer, philanthropist, and mother of 3. She is from Chicago.
Same girl.
And later made a name for herself so she's been in Chicago, then she was in Hollywood, where she made a name for herself in roles in over 20 feature films, including Step Up. She's also appeared on TV shows like That's So Raven. I'm definitely gonna have to be reminded.
I gotta look at her, yeah.
I love That's So Raven. I want to know who she was. And The Game, another TV show she's been on. She's currently in the process of directing her first feature film. That's pretty cool.
I'm looking her up right this second because I want to see her face.
All right, let us know. Drew is friends with Cynthia. That's probably how she, coming into the group.
Yeah.
He has moved from Los Angeles to Atlanta.
Oh my God. I know who she is.
Who is she? Tell me.
She's in whatchamacallit? She's in White Chicks. She's I believe she's either the girlfriend or the friend of the girlfriend of Marlon Wayans.
White Chicks is honestly one of those movies that I probably haven't seen since it came out in like the 90s. So
I watch it all. It's like the best movie ever.
I haven't seen it literally since it came out. So I wouldn't recognize her from that, but
okay.
I'm sure many people would.
Well, that's the picture that's coming up on Google a lot. So if I'm wrong, I apologize. But this keeps coming up on Google. But if that's her, then I know exactly who she is.
I got to look at her IMDb page after this. But she's friends with Cynthia. She moved to LA, from LA to Atlanta with her husband, Ralph. She is returning next season along with Cynthia, Portia, Candy, and Kenya, with Marlo Hampton and Tanya Sam back as friends.
Nene did leave, so they have to technically backfill her. So I know some franchises have chosen not to bring on new people or just kind of testing out.
But you have 3 friend characters here. So you're bringing back Marlo and Tanya, and you're also bringing along a new friend in Latoya Ali. So 3 friends. I mean, I've never seen that before, right? Yeah. Have we ever seen that before?
I don't think so.
I really feel like and I don't even like when they do the friend thing.
No.
But if you're going to do it, I feel like it's got to be one person, and either they kill it and you make them a full-time cast member or be gone.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Again, we're reporting more new cast members. It's going to be super interesting. We are going to, by this time next year, I feel like we're going to be able to play a game on this show talking about all these rookies and
all the new people
in their first seasons, because there are so
many
of them. Absolutely. There will be a power rankings of these rookies at some point in time when they make it through their first season. So
we got to do like a football rookie, housewife rookie kind of like collab, because you're like, we've never had this many housewives rookies. We're on this show every week talking about our football rookies.
No, but we're also feels like we are on
now. That's what I'm saying nowadays.
New cast members. It's crazy.
It is wild and crazy kids for sure. Yes. Alrighty, so let's get into our game tonight. We do have a little bit of a twist, a little spin on Housewives here, but it is football related. We've played this game in the past, and it's a lot of fun.
Long time ago. I feel like we played this in maybe like our first month of the show.
Maybe, yeah, I think so. A lot of fun though. So the game is called From the Sideline to a Tagline. So Katie and I both sat down and came up with 5 NFL players each, and we gave them to each other, and we were coming up with housewife-esque tagline. So, when I read them to you, and we get them every time a new Housewives, franchise is coming out with their taglines, I'll read them off in my sassiest way possible. Yeah. We're going to do it with NFL players, and Katie and I we handed each other 5. So we had the day to come up with our tagline. So I'm going to go ahead and let you get started with the 5 people that I gave you.
I feel good about 4 out of the 5, but I do wish that we were together, because I would make you read mine, because you do it better. But I'm gonna try to deliver the sass that is a Housewives tagline. So my first player, I'm not. This is my iffy one. My first player that I was given by Caitlin is Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Julio Jones. So here we go. Let's be serious. Whether it's reality or fantasy, I'm your number one pick.
Oh, that's good.
That's my not so good one.
I liked it.
You'll like this one. This will be your favorite one of the bunch. Caitlin gave me Washington football team quarterback Dwayne Haskins. This is my only one that rhymes. I went rhyming on this one. If you're looking for me, Dwayne Haskins, check the sideline or the trash bins. Tweet it. Put it on the Twitter.
These are going on the Twitter. Wait, I'm going to do it. You have to send me these in writing after the show. They're going on the Twitter. Oh my God.
Tweet that shit. All right, next one. She gave me a Giants player. We both gave each other one Giants player each. She gave me New York Giant tight end Evan Ingram. What can I say? Sometimes being this good is out of my hands. Literally.
That's good.
All right. She gave me Baltimore kicker Justin Tucker, one of our faves. In a league full of yellow starburst kickers, your boy will always be a pink.
You should have thrown in there. I still fucking got it.
Still fucking got it. I also thought about, but I didn't know if anyone would get the reference. A lot of the times when he kicks it, he does the, are you not entertained?
No, he does.
I don't know if people would get that or not. All right. And my last one that she gave me was Los Angeles Rams defensive tackle Aaron Donald. And my last tagline is, LA may be the city where dreams come true, but I'm your worst nightmare.
Ooh! Yours are better than mine, I think. Like, so much better. Okay. Shoot, I should have gone first.
Put it on the Twitter.
Put it on the Twitter. Alrighty, so moving into my 5 now. So my first one is Pittsburgh linebacker TJ Watt. So there's more than one Watt in this game, but only I can show you what a man is made of.
Ooh, play on words. I like it.
Threw a little wink in there. My second one is New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. Mm-hmm. I may be number 8 on the field, but I'm throwing dimes into your heart.
I like it.
Another quarterback for us, Mr. Tua Tagovailoa from the Miami Dolphins. Miami looks different than Tuscaloosa, but so does the field compared to the bench.
Ooh.
A little shade at Ryan Fitzmagic.
Oh, I love Fitzmagic.
I know, and Tua's like the nicest person. He'd never say that.
No, he would not.
All right, number 4, Tennessee Titans running back Derrick Henry. I'm an expert in the run game, but stiff-arming cornerbacks is my passion.
I gave you all your boyfriends, pretty much.
I know. Pretty much so. TJ Watt's okay, and this one's not my boyfriend.
Who's the last one we got?
We have Cleveland Browns wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. My name in the media? No shit.
I get it. Oh my God. That's a good mic drop. That's a good one to end on. I like it. Good. What a game.
It really is a good one. I do
going
like
viral
it.
On the Twitter.
I have to save it to my computer right now so I don't forget.
That's so funny. All right. Ooh, that was a lot of fun. That was a quick one, but listen, it took a solid amount of the day to come up with those. So
yeah.
All right, let's get into that point in the night where we get it off our chest. Positive, negative, football, housewives, life, wine, COVID, whatever you've got going on, spill it, let it out, let it go. Caitlin, you start.
All right, so I literally just had to Google something because I'm trying to, whatever. I think her name's Emily, whatever. So I am talking about the Real Housewives of Orange County. So as you guys know, if you've been true listeners to us over the past couple of years, I am a huge, diverse of the franchises of Housewives. I do branch out and watch everything besides New Jersey and New York. But I can't tap into, I'll do Atlanta, Beverly Hills, and Orange County. Dallas and Potomac, I just can't get into. They're just not my thing. But listen, I've been big Orange County from the beginning. But over the past couple of seasons, it's just, I've been a couple episodes in and they're just royally pissed me off. And it's just not good. It's not worth my time. So this season's actually particularly interesting because they start like right at the heart of 2020 when 2020 begins. They actually start in like December, and then 2020 happens, and then a majority of their season's going to be at the height of the pandemic. So I was like, listen, why not? I'll give it a try. So we're 2 episodes in. I believe it's on Wednesday. So I think I am going to watch it after this. So I got to tell you, I'm okay right now. I'm liking it. I'm not going to say like it's great and I'm so impressed and all this stuff.
But you haven't tuned out yet.
I have not tuned out. I think the vibe is very interesting and different, but maybe in a good way without Tamra and Vicky. Shannon is kind of, like your OG. We still have Kelly Dodd there, but Shannon is like the true OG to the group. Listen, you have the huge storyline with Brawwyn coming out as an alcoholic. So this past episode, she was at a huge party with alcohol and she had a huge breakdown. So like that's a huge plot line as well. There's just so much internal drama going on with the ladies, and a lot of it's a little bit unnecessary. I think I tweeted from our account last week because someone like went off at a party, and it was like, I was like, wow, it's already episode 2 and we're shattering glasses going off at a party. Like, give me like 4 or 5 episodes later before this happens. Like, this isn't New Jersey. So I just tweeted out like a Barbie with like a shocked face. I was like, oh my God, what's going on here?
Wasn't ready for that.
I really was not. So I think there's a lot going on. I could see the drama kind of getting petty and bothering me in a couple of episodes. So I'll definitely watch tonight. I will, or I'll watch it on demand. But I'll keep up with it just to see how things are going. So there is a new cast member though, interestingly, and I hope her name is Emily. We were talking about
Elizabeth.
Oh, Elizabeth. Her last name's Vargas. I know that. So it's Elizabeth Vargas. Okay, Emily. Same E. E Vargas. So it's so interesting because she doesn't like do anything. She wears very inappropriate clothing for like a very older woman, which is questionable.
Right.
But this past episode, she was kind of like there and like the camera kept going over to her. And I was like, at one point I was like, who is that? Why do they keep filming her? And then I was like, oh my God, Caitlin, duh. That's the new person.
Yeah.
But she doesn't really talk much, but then like girls go to her with like the drama and like she kind of like tries to get involved in it. And I'm like, Elizabeth, like back the F up. Like you have no idea what's going on right now. So she's kind of questionable in my opinion, as is like the drama going on. But listen, I'm in, I've been watching. I haven't been mad or turned it off. So we'll just see how things unfold. So.
All right. Sticking with it. I like it. Mine is football related, and I feel as though, funny enough, I feel like we haven't said it on the show. I feel like Caitlin and I talk about this a lot as we are watching Giants games and texting each other back and forth, but I feel like we haven't expressed it so much on the show. So I really wanted to do it for my get it off my chest. We, during free agency this past year, brought in linebacker Blake Martinez from the Green Bay Packers. And when I saw it, I was excited about it. I mean, he fills the stat sheet, right? But it was definitely kind of mixed reviews. I think it was a lot of Green Bay fans mainly being like, oh, he's not that great, blah, 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 blah. He is a
Or they just weren't like upset that he left. Like it was like,
Right. It kind of wasn't like breaking news, like Blake Martinez is going to the Giants. It kind of was under the radar. He is a captain for the Giants in his first season. And of course, as a linebacker position, you are going to be a leader, but that's huge to be with a brand new group of guys in a brand new system and already be named the captain. And then he goes, of course, and he backs it up on the field. And Caitlin and I have been honestly so unbelievably impressed with him and such huge fans of him very early on. In a season where things are so negative, you have to pull the bright spots out. And Blake Martinez is 100% one of those bright spots. I did get this stat from Giants.future Instagram. We recently followed each other, and I've been eaten up the content. Recently posted something that I didn't realize, but Blake Martinez is currently tied in first place with tackles amongst the entire NFL. He currently has 82 tackles. And if he, goes on pace with what he's done so far, he would finish the season with 164 total tackles, which would be the most in a single season by any New York Giants player in franchise history.
Defensive player of the year.
Talk about making an impact, though.
I absolutely love it. And I've seen, you're right. The Packers, it wasn't a huge, media alert or people being so upset he left. But I've heard a lot of analysts say he's just a different player on the New York Giants. He's fitting in and he's molding. And if this is the bright spot that sets us off into something greater, great.
He's been saying a lot of really positive things about working in Patrick Graham's defensive scheme and having him as his defensive coordinator. And honestly, going into the season, Giants fans really felt like the defense was the biggest, weakest spot in every position on the defense.
Here we are.
We need quarterbacks. We need pass rushers. We need linebackers. We need it all, right? And lo and behold, we're a top 10 defense this year. I think that definitely speaks to Patrick Graham. And I think it definitely speaks to Blake Martinez being the leader. Mm-hmm. I especially love that I have been seeing him get interviewed a lot in the media. He kind of is we don't have a lot of stars on the defense.
Right.
He kind of is that go-to media person from the defense where he gets interviewed a lot. And he says nothing but positive things in a season that's been really negative. And what I really appreciate about that is he's coming from a really good football team. He's coming from the Packers. He could be get me the F out of here. I don't want to play in New York anymore. Right. And instead, he's choosing to see the positive.
I love it.
In every game and every scenario. And this is a kid that I hope, and a kid, he's actually 28 years old.
Yeah.
He's been in the league for a little while now. I hope we can hold on to him for a while, because even if he's not necessarily a Pro Bowl or an all-pro linebacker, he could be a Pro Bowler. But even if he's not one of the top linebackers in the league, I just like his attitude and I like what he brings. His motor is on. It never stops. He's going full speed 100% of the time. And I love it. I love Blake Martinez. So freaking happy to have him with the Giants.
He's putting a really positive face to the New York Giants organization. So it's obviously we get excited about young guys like Darius Slayton, putting aside last weekend, this game with Daniel Jones, looking at positive things there, he's not necessarily a rookie or a younger guy. He puts that positive face to the New York Giants. I absolutely love it. He's out there on the field being a leader. He's making plays. He's out there with the media too, talking. He's out there on Twitter. Every week I've tweeted, God, I love Blake Martinez. He likes it right after the game. He knows we like him. He knows. We do. So I'll make sure I tag you. I'll tag you in this post, Blake. But we'll try to get it. Let's get him on the pod.
I am really hoping that 2021 looks better for the world. I'm hoping that we get the Giants charity softball game, and I would absolutely love to potentially meet Blake Martinez
100%.
and just thank him for being that positive spot on the defense for us, because he's been an unbelievable addition. So happy to have him.
I agree. Definitely a great get it off my chest for that right there. So
thank you.
All righty. So we are closing down for the evening. So do not miss, Orange County is on tonight at 9 p.m. So I got to go fill up my wine glass and catch that at 9. You have Potomac on Sunday at 9 p.m. And then we are 1 week away from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
I'm ready. I'm very ready.
I'm ready. We're all ready. We're ready.
That's interesting. And I just only realized it now. That means that unless they're going to move things around, Orange County and Salt Lake City would both be on Wednesday night. So I think they're going to probably move that.
They'll move Orange County to Thursday, I think.
Yeah, probably.
That's usually what happens. So, because Orange County and Beverly Hills, I think, have been on at the same time before, and they just switched the nights. So, we will let you guys know.
We'll keep you posted on that. Yeah.
So primetime games for football this week. Thursday night football, you have the Green Bay Packers at the San Francisco 49ers. Sunday night football is the New Orleans Saints at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Going to be a good one. And then Monday night football, listen, you pick if you want to watch it, you watch it. It's the New England Patriots at the New York Jets. And we have two massive football games this weekend for the college crowd. Number 5, Georgia is facing off against number 8, Florida. And you have number 1, the Clemson Tigers versus the number 4, Notre Dame, whatever they are, the Fighting Irish. So, but please note too that Trevor Lawrence is still not playing. So who knows what we're going to see against Notre Dame there. So my family's big Notre Dame fans. You know, I'm a Bama fan, but my family loves the Fighting Irish. They think it's going to be not a blowout, but a big win. So I don't know, but
if you're a Notre Dame fan and you've got this big game on your schedule, I would be like, damn, like I want Trevor Lawrence to play because I don't want to win and be like, well, you didn't face Trevor Lawrence. You know what I mean? So
especially because they're a 4 too. If they weren't ranked, I'd kind of be like, whatever, let's get it over. But they're number 4 seeds, like they're up there. So
yeah.
But thank you guys so much for joining us. We will catch you at the next episode. Cheers.
Cheers. Got to fill up wine. You do too.
I just sipped mine. Definitely need some more. So thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night.